So what's good, man?
What's up, man? Long time.
Long time, bro. You know what time it is, man.
Appreciate you.
Man, how it feel to be half man, half amazing, man.
I would say that. But it feels good to be here, man.
Say no more. Say no more, man. Look, I appreciate you letting me come through, man. You know, this kind of emotional thing, being around a fire department again, bro. I grew up in one of these, you know, like, so give me a second while I gather myself, man, because whenever I pull up on these stations, man, it remind me of my pops, you know, and it's a deep thing, bro. I really wanted to do this for a living, bro. You know, them boys rejected me like twice because I was too ill with the driving record.
Right.
Them boys was like, yo, you can't be saving nobody, cousin. You can't even, you know, you can't go down the road without speeding 10 miles over the day.
Unfortunately, man, you gotta kind of ride the straight and narrow, and your driving record gotta be right, and you gotta put up a certain image when you hit public. So, I mean,
but I respect it because you got people's lives in your hands, bro. Like,
exactly.
You know, it's crazy, but I was just recalling a story. You know, as a firefighter, man, have you ever ran into any adversity, like, while you've been really doing your job? Like,
all the time.
All the time.
Run into adversity all the time. And most of the time, believe it or not, it can be cultural adversity. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Cultural.
When you say cultural, it's like your own people, or you mean? Yeah, that's kind of deep.
Your Uncle Tom.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And it's crazy why somebody would say something like that to you when you're doing one of the most honest hustles there is, bro. Hey. Like, it'll get too much more honest than this, bro.
Hey, and the crazy thing is, the reason why I wanted to do this was because of the culture. I used to ride by the fire station all the time. Never seen the black guys outside. I'm like, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. But I'm gonna do it better.
Man, I like that though.
All the time.
Hey, and I be seeing you working too, bro. You ain't playing. Like, hey, listen, in the firefighter life, man, you know, you got your people that go hard. You got your people that just kind of sit around. You know, it's just like anything, bro. Whether you working in an office, you in a business, you got your people that's pulling the weight, man. Let me tell you, I see you pulling the weight. You know what I'm saying? I know you pulling the weight, bro.
And that came from
takes a leader.
That came from how the way I grew up, man. Because my mom always told me, man, if you gonna do something, I mean, she wanted to be damn near perfect. It could be making my bed. It could be brushing my teeth. It could be just, you know, any chore. She wanted to be perfect. So.
And look, shout out to mom though, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you, bro, I ain't trying to shame you or nothing, boy. But I remember we was in middle school, and you know, I kind of wish my mom was on my butt a little bit more sometimes. You know, I love my mom for who she was, but my mom a real creative, free thinker. One of them love, peace flowing. The structure is there, but it's not really the first thing. You know, she kind of like, go do, it's your world, conquer it, do what you want to do.
Right.
That's a good attitude, but you need a balance
to
get your fullest potential. You know what I'm saying?
Man, mom's was hardcore.
Bro, I remember she came into school, I don't know what you did, bro, but I don't even think it was nothing that, you know, it was other cats doing way worse.
Exactly.
And I remember she grabbed you by your ear, bro, and pulled you up out of there, bro. And I remember like, yo, that's a raw mama there.
She was.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
she was, man.
But I could tell, bro. Did she do it on her own, or did she?
My stepdad was in the picture, but he wasn't in the picture. You know what I mean? He was there, but you know, when you're a stepfather, you know, you got certain boundaries that you don't want to cross. You know what I mean?
Totally understand. I had a stepfather, but mine was a little different. But we go there later, Right. So he was there, but your mom kind of took control of it.
Exactly.
It was like that with me too, but I was with my stepfather, you know, I can't even really call him that, bro. He raised me from 10 months old. That's like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like, I grew up daddy, bro. It wasn't really nothing, you know, different. And I just want to talk about that adversity for a minute, bro, because it's a story that just jumped out to me that I want to share with you. Okay. So he came down, you know, my pops, Chief Jones, first black fire chief in this area, you know what I'm saying? He came down in 1976. Wow. And he ended up retiring from Paris Island Fire Department in 1996, but it was medical. He probably would still been trucking. You know, he was one of them type of 3 tours in Vietnam. He started as a firefighter in the Air Force. Became a fire captain there, and then when he got out, you know, he landed the job in Paris Island. Okay. Came through, changed up a lot of stuff. He was a no-nonsense, but a cool guy, though. You know what I'm talking about? Real cool guy, man. Y'all had similar swag, you know? But it takes that to be a leader. You got to know when to turn up, but then you also got to know when to, you know, mix with the people.
Because, like, my guys know here at the station, man. I mingle with them. No tasks too small or too big for me, and we have fun around here.
That's real. That's what makes you want to work.
When the tones drop, you already know. I mean, he's a different person.
But you gotta have that, bro. That's leadership quality. Exactly. So the craziest thing to me, bro, is he came in, and it was a guy that been there like 12 years, 12 or 14 years. I can't remember the story to the T, but you know, he didn't like having a black fire chief. And you can imagine, bro, if you say your people call you Uncle Tom because you working an honest job, just imagine what was going through on both sides of 76, right?
Exactly.
So he walks into the galley, you know, he walked into the kitchen and them boy had the dude had a bear that was dressed like a fire chief, like a monkey.
Right.
And he tied a noose around it and hung it from the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he walked into that evening. He called a meeting immediately. And, you know, the dude straight up said, I can't see myself working for no nigga chief, you know?
Wow.
And when my dad told me the story, I kind of felt the disrespect. But then I immediately felt cool because my daddy said, you know, I address those situations head on so we can wean them out early. And he said his only statement in that meeting was, is there anybody else that feel like they can't work for me?
Right.
Because if you, hey, right now you can get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, fired immediately. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Sad thing is, later on that same guy, they had to report to his home. Wow. The dude fell asleep smoking a cigarette, hit the curtains, started the whole fire, bro. They had to. He was burnt to a crisp later. Wow. That hate, boy, that hate can do weird things to you. That's why them same people hate on you. They better practice love. hey, before you be pulling up in their house with the, you know what I'm saying? Hey, with the whoop-de-whoop, like, hey, bro, dang, bro, and you still gonna save him. That what a real man do.
Only about right.
So, I wanted to ask you about the difficulty of, not even the difficulty, but the ups and downs of being a father and having a job like this, having a career like this, like. Do you ever run into situations that make you say, man, I wish I didn't have this job, or I wish I didn't, you know?
I won't say I don't run into situations where I say I wish I didn't have this job, but I do run into situations where it's difficult, like responding to kids. That's touchy. I got 3 small kids, you know? So like when we respond to a kid that ain't doing well, or we gotta do CPR on them, I think about my kids, you know? So that's the difficult part of it. Or like responding to a car crash, and I pull up and I arrive on scene and it's like, dang. They look like my cousin called, or they like my mom called. You know what I mean? Oh my God! And you being from this area, it's likely that you know somebody. Exactly. And I know a lot of people who pull on scene.
The attachment.
Exactly. So that's the difficult parts of this job. Just running into a situation, you know the person.
Man, that make water come to my eyes just thinking about it, bro. Because I'm just like, you know, first of all, to see a person in a situation where they compromise, or they. You know, that takes a lot of guts, man. Shout out to the paramedics, the police officers, bro, the doctors, the nurses, the CNA, everybody to me in the medical field, it's almost like how education, you know, was growing up. I think it's going to get back to that. But you remember when them teachers was like dedicated on a different level, the way they felt like they was your mama, auntie, all rolled in one. And, man, we had some different type of...
We did. But to be honest with you, man, you're right, we did have different teachers, but exactly. And we had different parentals. You know,
hey, you saying something now, boy? Like, parents that was willing to take responsibility. Like, hey, my mama wasn't even about to say the teacher did something. Never. Hey, you remember that? You remember when the teacher was never wrong, boy?
Exactly. I just said that every grade. Like every grade I was in, man, like 5th, 6th, 7th, I'd be like, man, that teacher don't like me. She's like, look here, every year you saying that. Ain't the teacher every year. It's you. She just told me that ain't the teacher, it's you. Every year you can't come to me with that same line. So you're right. It's just different times, man.
That's deep, man. That's deep, man. And another thing, like, you know, being married and having this job. I remember my mom almost became like a part of the station, you know, because it's like when you got, you know, your husband is here all the time, man. These guys became a part of the family. Like, do you experience that same bond with your guys?
We do, man. We have, man. I love, like, a lot of these guys I work with. I love them to death, man. You just adapt to everybody's living style, basically. So we try and incorporate family nights here and there, and we just spend so much time together. We got no choice but to get along.
Wow, man. I like that.
We do dinner every night. My guys know I work 2 days on, 4 days off. So they know the first night I got dinner. The second night they can split it up, and they got dinner.
Okay.
But one night I take care of dinner, and then the next night I let them divide it up. Because right here we got four guys at the station, and that's how we got.
I like, hey, that's that real brotherhood. Because that's how it was. You know, I can still remember the same, man. I think firemen got like this. It's a different type of brotherhood. I remember them boys being like, you know, hey man, I want chicken and man steak tonight. We can do both. It was just such a vibe, man. And that kitchen be smelling so good, man. You be ready for dinner around there, boy. Like, and my mom would bring cakes and pies, and man, it was like being a part of a real family. Some of those fellas I still see, like, you know, they older now. You know, a couple of them boys still in the game. Right, you know, exactly. Those fellas still in the game.
And it's still like that, man. I had one guy, man. Shout out to a guy named John Thompson. He worked with me. He said, man, look here. I tell all my guys, you don't gotta like me, but you gonna eat with me. So
I like that. Dinner time,
we ate dinner together. You don't gotta like me.
That's real breaking bread, though. But you gonna run into situations like that, man. But as long as it's respect there, that's cool. And then on the other side of dislike is like, man. Exactly. That's just how it is. On the other side of love is hate, man. It's really something he love about you that make him hate you a little bit. Right. You know, people weird like that, bro. Like, it's something crazy in the mind, man.
Everybody wants structure, man, because at the end, it's better for everybody, man. So whoever said they don't like structure, they want it. Everybody want it in their life.
Boy, that's real now. Hey, that's real, boy. You ain't never lied, though. Hey, because I think to a fella that's more structured, it gives you an edge.
They do.
It gives you an edge, bro. Like, and you know, for the young fellas out there too, to be structured should never be what you run from, man. That should be what you run to. Because you end up 35, 40, 50, 60 thinking, boy, I wish I had a little more structure, man. I could have did more. I could have hung on to a little more. You know what I'm saying? Right. Structure is not a bad thing, man. Like, my daddy was a real structured dude, but he been cool as hell. But he just did everything a certain way. Right. The shave gonna happen at 6 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be in the car by 7. That's just how it go. The egg sandwich gonna get fried up that morning. That's just how it was, bro. And see, my mom was not so structured, so I had both. So I ended up being a little bit of both. But now that I'm 35, I'm actually gaining more structure because I see what it does for me, you know, and my children. And I want them to be free, but I also want them to have some business about it, you know. And I think that's the father's job, man. How you feel about that? Like, do you think parents still have roles today, or has it all got jumbled together?
No doubt. Like right now in my house, like my wife, she's a great mother.
Okay.
She hold great moms. She hold them down while I'm at work. Ooh. So she's good cop and I'm bad cop. You know what I mean? They know when daddy home. All right, there's certain things we can't do when daddy home versus when daddy's home.
You aware of everything going on in your house though? I am. So you really still, you know what I'm saying? I like how you got that, dude. Because it's like, look, run to your mama now. She gonna love you.
Nah, I don't know if you're the same way, but my boys, my wife know it too, and I gotta kind of change it up. Okay. I got 1 girl and 2 boys.
Okay.
My girl's in the middle.
I'm in the same, but I think my boy's a little older, the first one than yours. Okay, I got you.
But my daughter, it's hard for me to discipline her, man. It's hard. My boys catch hell.
We gonna talk about it today, boy. We gonna talk about daddies with them girls today, boy.
But I just can't. It's hard for me to discipline my baby, man. It's hard.
Bruh, let me share a crazy comment. I heard a female say that didn't necessarily have a great relationship with her daddy. Guess what she said one time, man? And I got to share this with you because you a daddy too. She said, girls with daddies are punks. Let's just explore this for a second. Now, because I was wondering, why did she said, man, girls with daddies get on my nerve. Like, and it's coming from a deeper place. Right. But when she said it, I asked her to go a little deeper. And then what she explained to me was, she thinks that girls with daddies can't do as much, and girls that have been forced to kind of figure it out without that daddy help are a little tougher. This could be true on some level, but I've also seen girls with daddies who forced to be reckoned with.
Exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And they optimum because they got the emotional feel and they physically are mentally strong. Exactly. Which I know that's what you're trying to build, and that's what I'm trying to build
my
too.
little girl go toe to toe with a dude right now.
Boy, you see what I'm saying?
And I'm talking sports, I'm talking fighting, I'm talking everything. You know, she go toe to toe with anybody. But I see the pluses and the minuses of having daddies. Like, because you got some daddies that's spoiled a little too much. And you don't have daddies that's just not there, that can't even coach them or teach them about life in general. So I see both sides of it.
Yeah, I can see both sides to that because, and she definitely, I didn't feel like she was wrong. I just, I wanted to know where did that come from? Because also I recall, during the barbershop days, man, I done heard so many conversations. I remember my partner was a coach. He was coaching basketball. And he was assistant coach to the main coach at the college. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say their name, but the main coach told him in a meeting, he said, yo, I need some niggas that ain't got no daddies. They got that dog in them. And that thing tripped me out, bro. Like, dude said, I need some niggas that ain't got no daddies. They got that dog in them, bro. And that was such a psychological statement to hear. And I was just like, wow. I started looking at all the fellas that really played basketball. And I mean, I was like, man, I can't lie, boy. A lot of them fellas had to be out there on their own. And I think that made them harder. Exactly. Ain't nobody was there when they bust that knee in. They had to let that thing heal on their own, you know, no peroxide.
Like anything else, man, they go both ways.
Both ways.
Out there that got daddy and they like,
daddy's be on them.
Exactly.
Boy, look at my man. I forgot the receiver, man. My favorite receiver, Steve Smith, was that his pops was the one that was crazy on him, kind of. Yeah. And it's like, look at people like Barry Sanders. I mean, look at the work ethic of fellas who had fathers who.
Exactly.
Man, look, it's a deep situation. So, but how do you feel about that on your sons? How do you find that place between too rough and kind of like a nut? Like, how do you feel about that with yourself? You think you're doing a good job with it?
I don't. I need to do better.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, my wife, their mom, be on me all the time. She won't do it in front of them, but she'll be like, man, look, I ain't like how you can handle the situation. Okay. And I go back and thinking about it, and I be like, you know what? You're right. I could have handled it different. But at the end of the day, I tell her, look, I mean, it ain't easy for a black man out here. You got to be rough on him. You know what I mean? So
you got to be a little rough on him, boy.
Yeah, it starts at home. So if I'm soft on him at home, guess what? He gonna figure that it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Bro, I do the same thing. And I think that with the continuing situation we in, bro, and a lot of our brothers in, I think that we might be increasing the work we putting on our sons because we see the problem. It's almost like a panic mode. You know, it's like I see my boy and I went in and look, bro, I'm right there with you. We make mistakes, but let me tell you, I think the most valuable part of parenting as a man is the ability to apologize.
Oh, yeah, all day.
Man, guess what? You could have ruined your child in a second.
Right.
But the fact that you go back and explain, it ain't even got to be apology all the time, but explaining to your son why you did what you did. Man, listen, that thing done kept me and my boy together. Because he's been in my household and in his mom's household. He don't exactly, you know, he goes back and forth.
Right.
So you can imagine that I got to adjust parenting for when I'm parenting from a distance.
Right.
I got to adjust parenting when he right here. Bro, this been a real thing. Without God, boy, I wouldn't have got through this, bro. Like, it's real.
You can teach me some things because it's like it's different for me because my kids in the house. You know what I mean? He's in the house all the time.
That's
so
deep,
I mean,
bro.
Not saying you're a better father than me.
No,
but you gotta adjust all the time.
Man,
so you hit with adversity, parenting adversity all the time.
Boy, it's crazy. So. And raising, and now I got this 2-year-old little fella, man. My little boy Jones, I named him after my stepfather. You know, this little dude is so different than my first boy. So. And see, that's why you can't have no one in parenting. You cannot have a one set of sheet rules. Each child is so different.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And one thing that I want to tell a lot of parents not to do, I thank God that my mama never did this to us. Comparing will set a child. Comparing could create a sibling rivalry so deep. Boy, look here, I done seen siblings really want to kill each other, bro.
You're right about that.
Fight in front of my face, like. Fellas, I done had to get in between, and they brothers, like, you like, yo, that's your brother, hold up, bro. So, you know, as a parent, I think that I just try my best to not make Farrah feel no type of way, to not make KJ feel no type of way, but as the girl, bro, she gonna get a little bit extra love, cause she got to. And I don't give a damn what nobody say, nigga, that's my daughter, bro. But the love come different.
Right.
Them boys but they getting extra lessons.
Right.
Not that I'm not teaching her, but it just, for those fellas to become the lead of a household one day, I'm teaching them what they need. For my daughter to possibly be the lead of a household if she needs to, but if she got a good man, I need her to know how to submit in areas when it's time.
Exactly.
You know, and we got to make sure that we raising them girls to, listen, submission is not a punk move, baby. No, but if you got a good dude that's holding you down and raising them kids, and sometimes you going to have to just know when to chill.
Hey, treat them accordingly.
There you go. Treat them accordingly. That's the best advice in one line, boy.
Treat them accordingly.
Treat them accordingly. Well, bruh, like I say, man, you know, it's been a beautiful time talking to you. And I definitely want to stop back by on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, you know, sometimes we don't talk enough about issues that's not right in our face. And I feel like when we talk about issues like parenting, not even issues, but situations like parenting, like being husbands,
right?
I think that we create more of a self-therapy for each other, man. Because, like, sometimes you go out, you go in the barbershop, man, it be that same conversation going on. Or you go in the store and some of the conversations you might hear now as a 35-year-old man, you listen to these things and you like, bruh, what they on? What they on out here, you know? So anyway, I wanted to ask you, bro, how long you been firefighting?
Man, the day after Christmas this year will be 15 years.
15? Yeah. Boy, you OG status in the game.
2005, man.
Dang, bro.
One of the best decisions in my life.
You ever ran into a situation, you know, as a firefighter that you couldn't handle?
Woo! I ain't gonna say I couldn't handle, but I adapted and overcame it, you know what I mean?
So tell me about one of these, bro, and I'm gonna let you go, I promise.
All right.
But walk me through a situation you went through where you really had to say, God damn it, boy, I'm almost at the end, but I got it.
And I'm glad my shades off. But I'm gonna tell you about a call I ran.
Okay.
I was 8 years on the job.
Okay.
And I was riding the officer seat. And
now what's the officer seat?
Officer seat is to the left. A lot of people think that the guy driving and running the truck. No, the guy not driving. He don't run the truck. The guy on the passenger side,
which makes sense, because how you gonna drive the truck and run the truck?
Exactly. He the one who making the calls, and he's basically letting him know like what we're about to approach, basically.
Got you.
So the guy on the passenger side is the one giving the orders.
Okay.
So we got this call. This was when our headquarters station was in front of the airport.
Okay.
And we had
I remember that. Yeah, man. I used to work crossing.
We had a call off of Gay Drive. Gay Drive is...
That's right there.
Exactly.
That's right there behind Publix.
Exactly. Same area.
Got you.
Responded to, it was a 12-year-old ran over by a tractor.
Oh,
and I
my
said,
God,
man, this kid got to be dead. Got to be dead.
Tractor, bro?
A tractor. We arrived on scene, and I could see mama holding the son, and she just crying. And I was like, man, this kid done passed away. And I kid you not, as I get closer and closer to him, he just had got done mowing the field, and I could see him pushing grass away from his face. I was like, wow, this kid's still alive. But man, when I saw him, his head was smashed. It looked like somebody took a watermelon and pretty much threw it on.
No, he was still moving?
Still alive to this day. He's about to graduate.
Come on, man. Hold up. Whoa. Boy, that thing ran up through my leg, boy. I had to jump up. About to graduate?
About to graduate.
Man, boy, God is real, bro.
Yeah, he is. He is, but responding to that call, I just said to myself, man, ain't gonna be a whole lot of and to see him about to graduate, it's like, wow.
That's amazing.
Living a normal life.
That's amazing, bro. And he healed and everything?
Now, he favored one side.
Yeah.
But he's still living a normal
forget
life.
that.
Exactly.